enjoy his presentation, so take it away, Will.
Yeah, you might have oversold it there. But it is not just pipe. Yeah, we'll come to the crux of that. So yeah, I'm Will Dando. I've worked for Plastica for a very long time now in all the different departments, and I do the sort of technical troubleshooting and product development and that kind of thing. And I was asked by our director to try and impress upon people the fact that why is this going to work? Oh, it was working a minute ago. Why use ABS pipe specifically for pools? So why use ABS pipework and how the pipe is actually made and how to use it properly. This is just a 20-minute talk. I probably won't have a chance to say all the little words as we go through, but anybody who gives me a card, I'll send them the PDF of it, which has got all the little details and instructions. Yeah. The main thing is it's not just pipe. ABS pipe made for swimming pools is not just a bit of pipe. It's not the same as the stuff you get from B&Q. I'll also cover why ABS as opposed to PVC or polypropylene or metal or whatever. What are the rules that make sure that this bit of swimming pool pipe is suitable? What are the rules, regulations and bits and bobs behind it? Jointing properly and good practice. I think everybody's had a weeping leak on a bit of pipe. There are several causes for it, and so we'll run through, as I said, can't say all the words, but how it should be done properly, and how as a manufacturer we meet all these requirements and demands. And here's a picture of a bloke and a bit of pipe. Right, it's not just any pipe. There's a very specific wall thickness to take the pressures that you're running at. It's compatible. It's compatible with, there's a range of fittings, a huge range of fittings that will take the pipe size up and down and whatever, starting with your classic bit of ABS pipe, be it 50 mil, 63 mil, whether it's 2 inch, inch and a half. It's all made to be compatible with suitable fittings. ABS itself has got resistance to pool chemicals. It's tried and tested, specifically chlorine. Also resistant to the variations in temperature. You don't want something that's going to become too soft if it's too close to the heater, or something that becomes brittle when it's underground and there's a frost. You also don't want anything that's too flexible. Otherwise, you'll be putting supports on it in the plant room every foot or so. That would be a pain in the backside. So the main thing about ABS pipe is it's designed for use on swimming pools. It's suitable for domestic filtration and circulation systems, tried and tested. It's an industry standard material. It's easy to modify and extend and refurbish because it's what's used. When you turn up at a brand new site that you've never been to before, you can be 99% sure that they are going to be using a white ABS pipe system of a standard gauge. And so you can have with you suitable equipment to do it. That is why there's a range of sizes, there's a range of fittings, a range of adapters. They will cover, specifically for the domestic market, anything that you come across. Why ABS? Safe, durable, easy to install, ideal for domestic swimming pools. A little bit more detail. Right, operating temperatures, -40, obviously moving water. Static water at -40 doesn't flow anywhere. But up to 70 degrees centigrade, which is much higher than other types, specifically polypropylene, becomes way too flexible. It's got spring and resistance in it. You can drop it, you can stand on it, you can bury it in the ground, providing that you've got the right pea shingle on top of it and whatever, and compact it down, and it will resist that. It's compatible with drinking water as standard, so you don't get anything permeating into the water or from the water into the pipe itself. A low flow coefficient of rough, i.e. it's made to be smooth on the inside. You don't get little eddies, you get less noise with it. As I said, rigid enough so that you've only got to put the pipe supports at a sort of metre distance, and good abrasion resistance. Even if it's been stored outside or knocked about a bit, it can still be, the surface can be cleaned up and bonded with a watertight seal into the fittings. Resistant to pooled chemicals, yes, it handles the chlorine and the other acids and bits and bobs very well. Obviously, no rust or scale build-up, which you do get on ceramic pipes and metal pipes. And again, the smooth interior means that it doesn't build up or calcify inside. High impact resistance. Withstands the regular, when you've got the pump knocking on and off, day and night as it were, you get a kick from that, and the pipework will jump in places, and like with anything, over time that will start putting stress cracks and whatever in pipe. ABS pipe is very good at withstanding that, so it's a long-lasting solution and cost effective. It's manufactured in large quantities, it's easily available, and yes, it's not the most expensive pipe out there, so excellent long-term value. Oh look, there's more. Lightweight and easy to handle, especially more than metal pipes. Simple solvent weld joints that last, which is good. A quick installation and minimal disruption. Like I said, when you walk into a plant room, you're pretty sure there's going to be ABS pipe there. You can cut it, clean it, and modify it. Yes, quite efficient water flow we've covered. Right, so ABS pipe specifically, PVC and polypropylene can cover other things, but ABS itself has got all the requirements, all at once, not just 2 out of 3 or whatever. All the things that we've run through, it ticks the boxes. How do we know it's going to tick the box? How do you know that that bit of ABS pipe that you've picked up from a pool supplier is going to be right? There's a BS specification, in fact there's several. You've got factory quality control is very tight on it. There are limits. You can, it's Class C pipe, I believe, goes up to bar 9, no more, and that's what it's built to do. And not only does the OD of the pipe be checked, but the thickness of that wall has to be a minimum to withstand the pressures that you're dealing with. So there's standards as well as British standards, as it were, but there's industry standards. There's guidelines which are in the factory to make sure that the roundness and the ovality is as it should be, and good practice. Obviously, good practice of the pipe coming off a machine and being stored instantly. These are the British standards that apply to it. There's quite a few. They cover the makeup of the material, how much regrind you can use, the size, the age, you name it. If you could be bothered to read all of those, you'd know all about it. The important one is BS 5391, because that defines the OD and the wall thickness very, very closely, so that you know that every single bit of pipe is going to fit into the fittings that you've bought. So yeah, that standard also goes hand in hand with 5392, which is the standard for the fittings that you're putting onto it. So both of them are made to matching standards. So in the factory, this is they test what's shown on the screen there constantly as the stuff is being made. It gets more in depth when you're setting the machine up. You've got all these settings which have to be run and checked. It's even more complicated when you come to injection moulding the fittings, but luckily we're not getting into that one. So once you know you've got a fitting and a pipe which are compatible, joining it properly. So measure twice, cut once. This is about the most important one. Cut it straight, 90 degrees. You've got a certain go in on the pipe fitting. If it's cut at an angle, you haven't got the overlap that you're supposed to have. And you've also, you're going to have a little void inside where you will get like cavitation. Got the word right. You've got to clean and prepare it before you join it. Use the correct solvent for ABS pipe. Some are compatible with ABS and PVC, some just with one or the other. You've only got one shot to join the parts. Once you've pushed it firmly home, that will not come back apart unless you're literally, you touch it in and pull it straight back out again. Should be clean. Any little bits of grit that you haven't managed to remove are going to score a line which could give you a small leak. Cure, not just dry, but cure before use. Before you put that under pressure. You can assemble things, but you shouldn't run the pipe work up, I would say, for at least 24 hours. The rules say 48 hours. Why do you measure twice and cut once? Well, anyone who's done Chrissy's ISPE workshop will know that given simple instructions, put together 4 90s, a union and a pipe-to-pipe socket that fits inside this wooden frame, you'd think it would be simple. But one small mistake, and as you can see, the union won't join back up again. And obviously, if this was on site, it means you're going to have to lean on the pipe. Things are going to be slightly twisted and could and will leak. And that's the one thing you don't want. I won't run through all the instructions word for word, but basically, it's more complicated than you think, but marking it where outside where you're going to clean it, cleaning it, applying solvent to both the pipe and the fitting, pushing it home, waiting 10 seconds before you let go of it, and at least 24 hours before pressure is put on the pipe again. Check that the pipe is fully home when it's pushed in, as it were. If it's not, you really should take it apart and start again, because you need that mouth depth, that 30 millimeter of overlap. Cure times are different for different temperatures and for different size pipe. That the larger the bore of the pipe, the longer it's going to take. And if it's very cold and you've got like 4-inch pipe, which you might have, it's going to start going up to 72 hours before it's cured. General health and safety advice. Some of it fairly obvious. But yeah, don't use dirty brushes. Most pipes are meant to have a little brush inside it. Keep that clean, because any little contamination can form just a little path that the water under pressure can sneak out of. Don't dilute or decant the ABS solution. It's not expensive. If there's a problem with a can of it, bin that off. Use it for drain pipes or for the overflow or whatever. Don't use it on a pressured pipe system. A proper installation, planning the layout to minimize twists and turns, and having the correct support for the pipe, and also a nice, I think it's 10 times the diameter of the pipe, of straight pipe before it goes into the pump. All these things will make the flow much smoother and quieter and much more efficient. Oh, it's 20 times the pipe diameter. There you go. I should read it. Just cut a hole in the shed wall. It's fine. Come on. I'm on the side of the pipe and the pump. There are Sparta member sheets which cover all of this, like from A to B, as it were. So, like I said, I'm quite happy to hand out this afterwards, which has got the instructions all written out, or SPATA will send out these fact sheets about it. So how are these things all achieved? Back at the factory. So how is pipe made? It's made in a very long, very noisy machine. You've got an extruder which has got heater bands on it, which basically has a great big worm drive, and it takes the granular plastic, heats it up until it's liquid, and a bit like a mincer, forces it out through a die. The die then goes through a calibrator into a cooling bath, and then into a haul-off system. Now, by then it's pipe, so you've got the extruder squeezing out molten plastic, and you've got the haul-off system pulling on it, probably about 10 meters away. In between those two, that bit of pipe is being adjusted and supported and cooled to get it the exact right size. If you stopped hauling, it would keep pumping. If you stopped pumping, it would keep hauling. You've got to balance those two absolutely perfectly, which is what that says. So here's the extrusion line itself, beast of a machine. Here's the haul off and saw, because every time that there's 3 meters of pipe come out of the haul off machine, obviously it's cut, drops to one side, otherwise you would have to have a very long factory. And here we have the business end. Now I don't know if it'll work or not, but that noise and that smoke there, that little section is just molten plastic. It's gone through the die, which makes a hole in the middle, but that literally is liquid plastic going from the hot end of the line into the sort of sizing and haul off side of the line. Very other far end, you've got the store and the sillage. Basically every 3 meters, chops it, it drops down, and then it's wrapped and packed and is ready to collect. So for a factory to meet the demands and the requirements, you've not only got to have the machinery, it also helps if you do the injection moulding of the fittings as well, because then you can check they're compatible and you've got full control over it. You've got to have the stock of the stuff, so you've got to be able to store it. You've got to have the product knowledge, knowing what you're trying to achieve, and you've also got to have customer service. You've also got to react to the demands and needs of the pool contractor out there, otherwise the relationship just doesn't work. So, luckily for everyone, to conclude, why use ABS pipe and why is it the best choice for pools? It's safe, it's available, it's compatible, made to the standards, compatible with all the other fittings. It's durable, you know it's going to last. You can fit once, you can walk away. Easy to install because you know it's compatible, and because getting a watertight seal is just a matter of following the procedure with the right equipment. Quite efficient in performance because of the smooth inside, as it were, and you followed the instructions about having smooth flow in the plant room and your length into the pump if available, and easy maintained. It is pretty much fit and forget. And here's the guy looking at a bit of pipe again. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've learned something, and if anybody wants a little tape measure to help them measure and cut it right, I've got some freebie ones here. But thank you very much for listening.